Yeah, so Anna May Wong, as we know, she was born and raised in Los Angeles, United States. And then because of all the work that she did, right, performing on the screen and the stage, she traveled all over the place, and she spent a lot of time in Europe and traveled to European countries several times. And then she also traveled to to China in 1936, and then to Australia in 1939. So she had a very migratory kind of life and career, which is obviously contributes to her international fame. But at the same time, there is also the necessity, the kind of circumstances in the US that compelled her to travel around the world for opportunities. She played mostly in melodramatic films, so most of her characters are somewhat tragic, which is an understatement because she did have to die in a number of her films. So whenever there is a film where she actually walks away alive, that alone is a triumph. Yeah, so in some of the interviews, she said, so for instance, in 1928, she had a meeting with the German critic Walter Benjamin, in which she actually expressed the desire to play a mom. And she said her first mother role was in The Toll of the Sea. And she said she would like to do that again. But there are some other interviews she said she would like to play a young woman in a co-ed school, more like an Americanized modern girl kind of figure. So she had all kinds of desires and ambitions. Some of those are realized, but most of those are probably yet to be realized. It's even more than that. Basically, her like the quote that I read yesterday at the book presentation in 1939 interview, she essentially was protesting against the kind of mainstream entertainment culture that was presenting her as a freak, just because she was seen as an Oriental, right? So that's something kind of like a nondescript, non-fitting kind of figure. So then she was put on display as if she were a freak, right? And she complained against that because she wanted to be recognized as a film actress. Yeah, so my book mainly, and also the notes that I wrote for the film festival, mainly was trying to tease out the strategies that she deployed and developed in order to demonstrate her strategies of performance, not necessarily skill in terms of becoming, like an excellent actress in that sense, but more like strategic ways of performing stereotypes, and at the same time deconstructing those stereotypes. Yeah, so indeed, when I was doing research in Italy, because she was in Italy playing on the stage and she was popular, so I was sure that she left traces. So I went into archives and so on, and I found materials and basically not only newspaper coverages, but also some magazine booklets about her. So there's no doubt that she was popular. She was welcomed even before her arrival in Italy. But the discourse oftentimes is still very much Orientalist, and she would be portrayed as a woman who carries some very strange talisman with her as a good omen or something, right? She's basically being portrayed as an other, but at the same time, as you mentioned, she did also have a potential working relationship with Pirandello, the Italian writer. So they met, and purportedly he taught her how to eat pasta, which I doubt, because coming from America, she would have known how to eat pasta, right? It's not that outlandish in America. But the story goes like that. So I think, in basically it's indicative of many of the blind spots that we still have in understanding Anna May Wong's experience on the international stage, right? So there are these kind of like tidbits, which are like teaser kind of details, which really compel us to dig deeper and to think more about what kinds of experiences and what are the people who she associated with and really had fun with, had relationship with, right? Yeah, so she was a very resourceful person, and she really utilized all the resources, right? Including people who can become friends, who can become co-workers, right? And to forge relationships with them. Yeah, so that's sort of the larger context in which I understand her association with Pirandello. I don't know if I don't know if I would describe her as larger than life, because I think of her in life is already pretty large. She's actually pretty tall. If you look at the picture of her and Leni Riefenstahl and Marlene Dietrich, right? She's tall. And in many of her films, she's actually taller than the leading female actress, who is always white. And she's a supporting actress, but she's actually taller. So in the US, the press sometimes had to basically say that, even though she's Mongolian, belongs to the Mongolian, so-called Mongolian race, but she is sort of uncharacteristically tall, So to me, she is already large in life. So we don't really have to say, I don't exactly know what larger than life means, because what she was able to achieve and the kind of inspiration that she leaves for us, it's a lot for us to already to reckon with and to negotiate.